Happy
Hi.
Wednesday. So excited we're here on Zoom. Are we excited that we're on Zoom? I'd rather be in person.
I would so rather be in person, but excited that we have options, right?
We do. Thank goodness for this. And it is Wednesday, so coming to you with some two-word story motivation from the community, from a beautiful thought leader who represents, what she does, and I can't wait for you guys to hear what her two-word story is. I don't know what it is yet, so I'm excited. I like also being surprised. And if you want to take it away and introduce yourself, that would be great.
Yay. Hi. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Erika. I am pretty much a Philly native. I've kind of gone in and out a few times, but Philly is definitely home for me. My business, my passion, my kind of original, always two-word story is woo-woo culture.
Yeah. I love that.
That is really, that's my heart. That's my soul. That is really what I know my purpose is here. If you look on my website, the little tagline is that woo-woo culture is the practices and support that are key to manifesting abundance in every area of your life. But it's a little different for everyone, and it's so much more, which is kind of leads into, I didn't want to make woo-woo culture my two-word story.
But it definitely, that would fuel you. I like woo-woo culture because I'm into woo-woo. Like live a culture life of woo-woo because it keeps you abundant, manifest. I love it. So sorry. It was like,
thank you. I do. I love it. Like I said, it means everything to me. But when you say practices and support that are key to manifesting abundance, like what does that really mean? What does it mean to manifest things? How do you really manifest things? You need to feel it, right? So that is my two-word story for today, is feel it. So, because it really is like everything, it's how you feel inside, right? We all know that we're living in unprecedented, crazy times right now, right? So I have been almost feeling guilty about how good I feel right now, and almost ashamed to admit it, because I know that it's hard times. I know that people are scared. I know that people are struggling. I also believe I'm one of those people that feels like we kind of called this in as a collective. So many of us were super stressed out. We're super tired. We're begging for time off. We're begging for time home with our children. We're just begging for so many things that this is now giving us. It's not a perfect situation. I'm sure many of us, didn't want the stopped income along with it, and the uncertainty and the not being able to go outside, but you have to realize and take responsibility for what you do call into your life, right? So I am really, really leaning into the gratitude of the time off, of the time home with my kids, of the extra cooked meals, of all of that stuff, and really feeling into those feelings, right?
Yes.
Because no matter your situation, we all have two choices: to feel into the scarcity and the fear, right, of what's going on, or to really lean into and feel into the gratitude and what's good, and the healing of the planet, the time of our sun. There always is so much, and honestly, money is always a thing that comes up, and people are so afraid, and so so much scarcity around money. It's such an abundant time for so many people right now. Actually, there's so many new businesses being made. There's so many people like leaping into action and actually making a lot of money during this time.
Yep.
So it just really, it's all about how we feel, right?
Love that.
And I know that it's controversial right now, especially because we're still really in it. It's a touchy subject for a lot of people, because a lot of people are scared, and a lot of people can't move past those feelings right now, right? Because we're still too in it. Okay. So I just wanted to give kind of another example of like how you feel, and how you feel about things is like manifestation, and that it really depends on how you feel, right? And how you can learn to look at the situation. Like I said, I'm leaning into this situation with gratitude instead of, trust me, there are days and minutes where I could go down the rabbit hole of fear of it and anxiety over this whole thing, but I choose not to. And I've done enough work and enough things that I'm able to stay in that place of gratitude over it. But since it's a touchy subject, and since a lot of people are just going to tune me out and turn me off as soon as I said that I'm grateful for the situation we have right now,
Oh, no.
I don't want to, right? A lot of people are just not going to be feeling into that right now.
It is a message, because what gratitude does is it creates abundance. So even finding gratitude, there was a text string going on yesterday, and it was a lot of like more heaviness that was being shared. And I said, I took a picture of the pink trees that were above my head and the blue sky, and I said, this is what I'm tapping into right now, because
Yes.
I feel all of you. And so that was like that. I was feeling into what was right around me.
Yes.
And I love that you're sharing this, because we can read it and we see it, but like, can you really feel into it?
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
like the challenging part. Like, challenge yourself to feel into. And that even to me applies, when you're feeling into, like if you wake up cranky, feel into that. Sit with it. Right?
Absolutely.
I
Why
look
are
at
you
it both
cranky?
ways.
What's
Like,
going on?
yeah, like figure it
Whatever.
out. Figure out why. Don't judge yourself for it, because allow yourself to feel it.
Absolutely.
And know that you can bypass it. Like, get rid of it, throw it in the trash.
Yep.
I see that as like feel it is really, really, really powerful. And I swear I am going to be channeling that probably for the
Absolutely.
entire, I'm like, a lot of times, like, I really am so grateful for 2-word story shares, because it makes us all stop and think for a moment. And I write them in my journal, because when you really think about it, like, you're sharing this 2 words from your heart, and it's the right message. It's a pure message coming from within you. It's pure, it's beautiful, it's gratitude. I love it.
I love it. I love writing 2-word stories every week.
It's so great.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
And I think too, for all that you do, with if you want to share some of the things, just so we all know, like from woo-woo culture and what it is that you do, I'd love to know more as well.
So I am, and then this will kind of bring me into that other story that I said I wanted to tell. I have been on this like personal development journey for, oh my gosh, like 15 years now. In different ways, right? And I think my very first kind of introduction into manifestation personal development so many years ago was through feng shui. I had this coworker that was really into feng shui. I literally bought a book, went home, moved some things around, stuck some coins under plants and under mats and stuff, and manifested $24,000 in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yes. I had no idea what I had done. Manifestation was not really like a thing. Mm-hmm. 15 years ago, I had no idea what I had done, but I knew it was cool, and I definitely became a believer, and I definitely felt like I had done something, right? Yeah.
I love it.
So years later, so many different heartbreak, bad divorce, work life, mm-hmm. work things, job things. I kind of like lost track of that a little bit, and then went really deep into personal development to kind of get me through what I was going through, right? Mm-hmm. And then that brought me back to this sort of whole like manifestation, creating your life, law of attraction, stuff like that. And it made me then realize that I had manifested this $24,000 so many years before that, like I said, I didn't even understand what I did, you know? But I was in a really good place. This is the key to it. I was in a really good place back then. I was totally open to it working, and I believed that why wouldn't this work? Someone else was telling me why wouldn't it work, right?
Right.
So if I was able to do that back then so quickly and so easily, why can't I just manifest $20,000 all the time? Why wasn't it working for me, you know? And I realized I had some major money blocks that had come up from childhood things, that had to come up from work things, career change, and just not being fulfilled in what I thought I was going to be fulfilled in, bad relationship, stuff like that. And so I went on this journey of what I call woo-woo culture, right?
Yeah.
And it really just is about, it's whatever corny quote that you love, create your best life, manifest this, abundance that, it's whatever resonates with you. That's what woo-woo culture is to you, right?
Right. I love it.
So why do we make decisions, or why do we decide that we're going to manifest something and then it doesn't happen? Why does it happen so easily for some people? Or I think if we all look into it, you can definitely say at some point in your life, like, yeah, I manifested that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't totally believe in it, there is something in your life that you have wanted and you figured out how to get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I really started studying and tapping into, what is that thing? So there's been so many times where I've been sitting on the bathroom floor crying, this is enough, this is enough. I decide this is it. I decide that I'm going to do whatever it is at the time, only to 5 minutes later, not really be there, not believe it anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have talked myself out of it.
Yep.
And that's really because I didn't believe it inside. I didn't believe, whether it was, you know, depending on the situation, whether I didn't feel worthy of it, whether I was afraid of having it, whether
oh my God, you weren't feeling it. Right?
You know, whether I was,
feel it. You gotta believe.
You have to feel it. So it's been a journey for me. About 5 years ago now, I was in it was post breakup. I was in this career. I was making a lot of money. I was making 6 figures. And I thought that was it. I thought, once I make 6 figures, that's it. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to have everything I always wanted. And it wasn't the case. I was actually the most miserable I ever was. I was super stressed out. I was yelling at my kids. I was literally going to Rite Aid and checking my blood pressure in those blood pressure cuffs, because I thought I was like having a heart attack. And I was afraid that if I went to a hospital, they would keep me. And I had kids and jobs and stuff like that, you know? So I up and left and got rid of my job, got rid of my apartment, and we moved to Costa Rica with my 2 kids for 6 months. And I call that like my quarter life crisis. It used to be a joke, but I really think it is my probably midlife crisis, but we'll call it quarter life crisis, right? And that was just really the start of realizing that money isn't what makes you happy, and what going inside and deciding like what really does, make me happy. And just back to that, like feeling it and the money mindset thing, because I know money it's such an issue on everybody's mind all the time, right? And another maybe controversial thing to say is that if you're super stressed out about money in this time, you were probably stressed out about it before this whole thing happened. It was probably an issue in your life before this whole thing came in, right? So I have had so many money blocks and money, just scarcity around money. I told you that when I left my job, I was making 6 figures. I was living in Rittenhouse, paying $1,400 for an apartment with a 6-figure job every single month. Now, a 6-figure job is great. It's not everything. You can't live your wildest dreams, Right. But my rent was $1,400, and every single month that I had to pay my rent, I panicked around paying my rent. Even with this 6 figures and with money in the bank, I still always felt scarcity. I still never felt like I had enough money. I still never felt comfortable. So I quit that job. Thankfully, when I was making all that money, I was just banking a lot of money. I wasn't, you know, I didn't upgrade my apartment when I got that raise, stuff like that. So I moved to Costa Rica with a bunch of money in the bank, right? And Costa Rica cost of living is much less than it is here in the States. Mm-hmm. So my rent for a 3-bedroom house in Costa Rica was like $300 and some dollars. And I had about $25,000 in the bank for a 6-month vacation. I felt the same anxiety and overwhelm paying my $300 rent with all that money in the bank as I did making a bunch of money. Do you know what I mean? It's all how you feel. It's all how you feel.
Well,
and
you can't attach your feeling to thinking money is going to answer your happiness and your, you know.
Yep.
In moving to Costa Rica, woo culture was born.
It's been a lifelong process. I say it's definitely, it's my life's work. I've had a lot of challenges that I have always been able to get up and get past, but they've left baggage.
Sure. I mean, girl, everyone, I hope those are listening and taking in this goodness, because like no matter how many times you read it or see it or hear it, like right now you're hearing this, those that are watching, and you're like, oh yeah, I've heard this, but are you really listening? Are you? Even for me, it's a great reminder for me. There's some things I woke up this morning and I was like feeling into some not so good feelings, truthfully. So what you're sharing with us is like, I wish we could just megaphone like out and just drive around so everyone can be reminded that like, find it from within. It's not about the apartment. It's not about the money. It's about the woo-woo in you.
Yep.
It makes you feel good, you know?
Absolutely.
And I like that 2-word story. It allows you that feeling. So like when you're starting to go down that rabbit hole, you can say, no, feel it. I need to remember what feel it means to me.
Absolutely.
And it ties into my woo-woo culture and all the work that I've done.
Absolutely.
All the years, you know? So I'm beyond grateful that like you could share this with all of us, because it's gold. Like
it's literally, that's the thing, is it's every single aspect of your life. Like we're talking about this craziness, this pandemic that's going on now. It's about how you're feeling into it. That has to do with like gratitude or fear. How are you feeling into? You know, my story about the money is that's every single day. How are you feeling when you're making purchases? How are you feeling in your relationships? How are you feel? It's all day long, every single day we have these things, and it's you know, the woo is whether it's your brain, your heart, your soul, your spirit, whatever that thing is inside of you, that little voice, that's the woo-woo culture. And that's like, you have to realize how you're feeling in all of these situations.
Yes, I love it. I want one of those sweatshirts. And thank you guys for hanging in and watching the inspiration for this week and multiple weeks thereafter. Like if you connect to this 2-word story of feel it, try and journal about it, maybe for yourself, or use it as a mantra, repeat it all day long and see if it can mindset reset to get you into a better place, right? We want to be able to stop that feeling of going down the negative hole and try to shift, because your energy, everything that you're thinking and feeling is being heard from the universe around you, your
all the time,
guides, your spirit guides, like just feel it. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Feel into the goodness and the gratitude today.
Definitely, 1000%. And we'll see you guys next week. If anybody has interest in sharing their 2-word story, please reach out to me. And hopefully one day soon we'll be back and This Is It recording in person and sending you all lots of love. Bye.
Bye.